Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's Mojave KY, just in case you don't know how to pronounce it, because I know some of you don't. Alright, so just a little humor. Today's video, we are going to install the Raptor 4-inch all black Nerf running boards. So stay tuned for that. I've got a couple tips that I want to talk to you about up front that I think will make your life a lot easier. I made this project harder on myself because I was in my head thinking about why or how these parts may or may not fit on the truck. It's actually fairly straightforward as long as you know you have the right parts. Okay, so this should give you an idea in terms of what I was dealing with when I was doing this install for these Raptor Nerf bars. This is the list of products, which none of these are freaking on. Literally, none of these parts are listed on that list for the installation. Okay, so let's go through. So these threw me for a loop, to be honest. I couldn't figure out what the heck we were doing. These spacers are if you have a 2014, which I do not. I have a 17, so you can skip those. Okay. These washers, there were 6 of them. These are for 2500 and 3500s. Also have a 1500, so you can skip these. So these guys. These were a little harder to figure out because what it really is they used to sell you this, and this is short, and then they would sell you an extension in case you needed a longer one for your particular truck. Now they give you a short and a long, and then you have to decide which one to use, but they don't tell you there's 4 of these. They tell you that there's 2. And then these bolts. I have no idea what these are for. So anyway, this kind of stuff just messes you up when you end up with all these kind of parts and you end up with a parts list and you don't see any of them on it. So what's the other issue? So here's the other issue. So you have, and you'll see, you have these 3 things, right? So you have a front holding the bar across on the top of that, a middle, and a back. There isn't a great way to distinguish between these for this installation. So they show you like, oh, well, this one has these 2 holes. Well, that's great. This one actually does have those 2 holes. So great, that's the middle. Well, this one has the hole that's kind of in the middle, but it's only a single hole. And this one has one that's in the front and it's a single hole. Guess what? Neither one of these has holes. You'll see in the installation, neither one of them has it. So the one that you want for the back of the truck, this piece here is actually longer. So it's hard to actually tell. It doesn't look like on the truck when I was underneath it that the back really is, the bolt location is that much higher, but it's higher enough that you need the longer necked version for this and the shorter one for this, and none of them have any holes here. So, and I'd say, oh, you can use, well, those bolts are these bolts. They're not, right? This is reusing the cab mount bolts. When you take those out, you reuse them and you reuse the washer. So these are the instructions in terms of the tools. It says you need a ratchet, a torque wrench, a 17 mil, a 14 mil, and a 6 mil hex bit, which was really annoying because I could not find my 6 mil hex bit. There's one other size you actually need. You need a 21 because that is the size of the stock bolt that are on the frame that you're going to reuse per their instructions. So you actually need a 21 mil also. So just let you know that. You can see here the kind of stock parts. You guys can pause there if you want to look at it. So you can see where I'm at. I'm right on the driver's side, right underneath the side mirror, and I'm coming down underneath. You can't miss them. You're going to take that bolt and that washer out. There's 1, there in the front. There's one in the middle. And there's one way in the back. So, kind of looking there, there, and here in the front. So you're going to take those out. One of them has Loctite on it, so it's pretty tough to get out, but they'll come out. They're pretty long. And we reuse those in this 2017 Silverado to put this on, so we'll reuse those. I'm going to use air tools to take them off, but to put them back on, I am just going to use a torque wrench, and they're supposed to be at 70 foot-pounds. So I'll use a torque wrench at 70 foot-pounds and put that back on. So these are the brackets that go on and hold this in these kind of spots here. You can see those kind of fit right there. They sit on it. I don't know if you can envision it, but like that. So the shorter one in terms of this distance is going at the front. The one with the two holes is the middle one, and it has those holes because the support bracket goes like this to help hold the middle. And then the longest one goes in the back. It's a little deeper back here to the bolt, so you get a little bit longer one. So those are the three, and they're marked driver's side and passenger side, so this one's driver's side. So now with that bolt and giant washer on each one of the arms, we're just going to hand tighten them and have them hand tightened in place, and we're not tightening up until we get to the very end of this and tighten, everything up. Okay, sorry for the noise, but this is being done in the garage, and I can't have the garage door closed and do this job, so bear with me. So before putting on the middle bracket here, you can see I hand tighten that one, hand tighten that one. I would do this one next, but this bracket has to fish itself in and then out and come back out so that you can put the top of this bracket on, which then at the bottom helps stabilize the middle bracket in those two spots. So it's easier, I think, at this point to fish this through. And then there are a couple nuts that you put on here. I'll show you those in a sec, but I'm gonna go fish it through, then I'll show you where it is, and then I'm gonna put the nuts on it and put that bracket on it, obviously, because if I put the nuts on it without the bracket, that would be stupid. So we're back in the middle section. Just want to kind of so you know where we're at, right between the doors here, and I'm going to show you. So there is the mount that we just took out, right? That big honkin' screw, right, goes right in there. What I just added here was this. So fish it through that bigger hole through the smaller hole, and then we'll attach. We're going to attach this piece onto it like that down, right, and it'll be that support for when we put that piece on. So there you can see the bracket. The bracket comes down, and then it'll connect up with the main middle bracket here, right there. And then we'll take this bolt nut and just hand tighten that in there until we're ready to put on the bar. And well, the bar will be the next step now that these are all just kind of hand tighten so they move around. So that way you can get the bar where you want it and then tighten it up. So there's the bracket. They're gonna come up one here, right, and one through here. And we'll just, again, keep them just hand tight until we get, you know, all of them done, and then we'll just tighten it. So they do give you this little rubber piece that goes on there just to keep it, you know, from rattling once we have it all on. So I'm gonna just set the bar on here, screw one of these in on each one of those, and then go ahead and screw the second one in on each one, and then we'll be ready to start tightening up everything once we have it aligned. And then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. We're in the home stretch. So the running board is on. It's still not all tightened down, but I just wanted to show you what it looked like on. Looks really good. Let's take a look underneath it. So you've got kind of 2x2, little Noah's Ark going on down the entire length. You've got those kind of 3 spots there. So hand tighten those, and then once you're satisfied with how it is set, go ahead and tighten them up. So I'm going to tighten up everything at this point, as I am pleased where it's at, and then we'll be done. Alright, everything is buttoned up and tight. Squeak, squeak, squeak them. They look great. Really nice. Once I figured out that there were extra parts in what they gave me, it went relatively smooth, as well as understanding which one of those brackets goes where. So pay special attention to that, otherwise you won't have it even. But looks good. All right, the first step on the running board. Perfect. Way nicer to get in. Hello, Silverado. Okay, so I hoped that this was helpful. It would have been helpful for me, I can tell you, to have this video before I had this video. Does that make sense? Probably not. But anyway, it would have been helpful for me to have that. I didn't have that. I kind of muddled my way through it and showed you guys the results. So you'll see a clean install, but from the beginning of the video, like you know, it was not clean and easy in terms of understanding the directions. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all the subscribes. Thank you for all the views and watching the videos. We really appreciate it. Kent and I both do. He did a bunch of the camera work to help me out, and helped me out a lot behind the scenes on this video. If you watch the Silverado oil change, you'll actually see him in that video. But he also did a lot of the shooting on that too. So there are 2 of us here, and we both appreciate you guys very much. Thank you so much for watching. Please give us likes and subscribes, really helps out the channel. In the meantime, keep modding.